Hello? God fucking damn it, I can't believe whatever. Um, Hello. Actually, give me a second. No, that's not what. Ah, this'll do. Well, my apologies. I appear to have been, something happened in OBS that caused my, mic to disconnect itself, but alright. Uh, anyway, since the run introduction completely missed and I was explaining the whole time on about some of UM's card systems, let's just continue here. So, right, UM Survival is very much a game based around the card system. You can absolutely cheese the hell out of the game just by bringing the right cards, and I actually very much question the cards that they've brought here. Their starting late card, if you missed the start of this run, it was just the 3 passive cards at the bottom there. Tay's Foot, Rabbit's Foot, the Saki's Wolf, and Mike's Lucky Cat. Now, the only thing that I can really understand out of those 3 is Saki's Wolf, because it gives a lot of additional just shot power, which is just generally useful in a game where enemies are as tanky as they are. Helps mitigate some of the problems of low power as well. But I can't really understand the other 2 cards. I can understand maybe like wanting a longer death window with Taste card, but it's not really necessary, and in a 1cc run you should really be bombing early anyway. And Mike's card, it gives you more options, but in a 1cc run like this, I feel like you're not really going to be able to always afford all of the options that you want. And like, there's really no need to get such good options when you can always just buy a life at the end of a stage. And I don't think I need to even mention that there are just other disgusting card combinations that you can bring. Maybe they're anti-OP cards. I mean, they're still using the Fang, which is definitely one of the most powerful cards in the game. One of the strongest options that you can start with is Fang Pipe Sutra. So let me actually stop fast forwarding here. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Yeah, let me stop fast forwarding here. If you hear a lot of noise in the background, that's actually from the video. I can't do anything about that because I don't know why they recorded with their mic on. But this is a lot of background noise, so yeah, just bear that in mind. Anyway, Fang Pipe Sutra. So the Fang, it deals a lot of damage with the Fang itself that extends forward from the player. And that Fang is out for like a good 2 seconds or so. It also cancels bullets. So what the Fang can do, basically, is you use it to skip non-spells. You get in front of a boss as it charges up the non-spell, and then you use it, and it skips like basically half if not more of the non-spell. Then the Pipe. The Pipe is actually a card that you can always pick up from the stage 3 boss. They didn't pick it up here because they bought the Feather instead, which is wise, but the Pipe is something that a lot of people recommend bringing, because every time you capture a spell card with the Pipe, you'll get an additional life piece. The boss will just drop an additional life piece. There are a lot of difficult patterns in this game, and some of the spells are not so easy to capture. So you might think that it's not that easy to capture spells, and so the payoff isn't that great for a 1cc run. But the key is that bomb damage, or rather there is no bomb immunity at the start of spells in this game, as compared to every other Touhou game, where when a boss declares a spell card, it gains like a super armor of sorts against bomb damage, which will cause you to do almost no damage of your bomb at all. That's not a thing in this game. So what you can do is you can bomb at the end of a non-spell just before you shoot down the non-spell, and the bomb damage, especially from Sanai's bomb, which explodes after like a good 3 or 4 seconds, that bomb damage will be fully dealt to the boss. And with the help of the Sutra item, oh god, these are really bad devs. With the help of the Sutra item, which it buffs your bomb, it makes Sanai's bomb just decimate spell cards. Like, in the early game, you don't have to dodge at all. In the mid game, you might have to dodge like half a wave or one wave of a pattern. In the late game, you might have to dodge a little bit more than that. But you basically get the skip patterns with Sanai's bomb like that. And it doesn't fail the spell bonus, so you can still capture spells that way. Which is why, when you combine the Sutra with the Pipe, you can actually farm a lot of extra lives that way. It takes a bit of practice because you need to be able to time your bombs at the end of a non-spell. Or, well, not really time per se, you just need to be able to bomb before the non-spell ends. But you don't really even have to dodge non-spells because in the early game, and I've tested this myself, the Fang cooldown is short enough that you can pretty much just use the Fang at the start of a non-spell and have it ready by the start of the next non-spell. And even if it wasn't, basically what the method does is that it converts one bomb into one life piece and lets you skip a difficult pattern. Oh, the schedules are updated. Yeah, let me do that. So there's a lot of just very, very effective card combinations to bring, and I'm a bit questioning why these... Yeah, I mean, it's a survival run. I'm not expecting them to really dodge much of this stuff, but I'm just questioning the card choices here because they're not really bringing anything that they can take good advantage of. I understand that the passive cards themselves bring just like good, a decent buff that you can have throughout the entire game, but the buffs here are not really giving them a lot of additional resources, not a lot of additional firepower, or not really even helping their dodging. It's just so much for comfort, I suppose? Oh no! Alright, yeah, this is bad. So, power loss in this game, you lose one whole power when you die in this game. And boss fights give you back some of that power, but not all of it. With Sana, this can be a big problem because your damage is already quite low. And when you go onto stage sections, sometimes having low power means that you can't kill stuff fast enough. For Sana, it's usually not that applicable, other than the very tanky fairies, which we might see end up happening. Looks like they picked up Patrolly's card here, which will grant them one spell immediately and then grant them additional bombs at the end of every stage. So they've got 2 bombs from that just straight away. They've also picked up just Marissa's Laser as a card, which helps with damage, definitely. It's one of the strongest damage options in terms of cards, but I still question the rest of the cards that they brought. If the idea is to just play passively and then use a Mike's card to try to find good options, or I guess more realistically just to find Feather, then I can sort of see it, because Feather is pretty much the only thing holding their run together right now. If they didn't pick up this Feather card and they just bought a life instead, then they'd have only 1 life remaining at this point. Or if they didn't buy a life, then they wouldn't even have a life remaining at this point. The Feather just grants 3 lives immediately. It costs a lot of gold, but you know, it's one of the best cards I can pick up in a survival run just because of all the additional leeway that it gives you. It's not guaranteed to show up every run, and I suppose that's why they wanted to bring Mike's card, like one of the advantages. But the way UM's card shop works is that cards are divided into 3 different categories, 3 different pools per se. Normally in one shop, you will have 1 card from each pool, 1 random card show up from each pool. And then you have your resource cards, so your money, your bomb, power, your life. And after that you have the boss specific card, or cards for stage 5. Also you have the blank card if you've already beat the game, but that literally is what Mike's card does, is that it makes 1 additional random card from each pool show up in the shop. Your chances of finding Feather in the shop to begin with is that it can show up in the first slot of the shop. That's it. It can't show up in the other 2 slots. And what Mike's card does is it lets it show up, have 1 more slot to try to show up in. But I hesitate to think that it's really good enough for that, considering there's still quite a few pool 1 cards and you can definitely still not have the Feather show up in a run at all. I can go and calculate the odds later, but I think it's probably not worth it, honestly. And for survival wise, I think there's also other cards that you can bring. For instance, Megumu's Rice Ball, it's an active card, so it could get in the way of you trying to use other active cards, but it gives you a lot of additional power, lets you recover straight away after you die. And if you use it when you're at max power, you can just slowly get bomb pieces, which adds up. Like, the cooldown is quite long on it, but it will gradually add up over time. Other options, just more shot power, so like bringing the laser, bringing Reimu's needles, bringing Marisa's missiles even. Those are all options, or even Yomu's Ghost Half. Those are all options to get additional damage. And resource-wise, like if you feel like pipe is like not something that you're really invested in, but you want more resources anyway, then the Jizo can be a bring, gives you life pieces at the end of every stage, and starts with an additional life as well, I believe. And yeah, that's just cards that I question on why they brought, but they found Feather, so honestly anything works. But if they didn't find Feather, then this run would be in a lot greater jeopardy. Like literally, they would have game over it here probably. But yeah, other than that, it's mostly unremarkable because UM is the sort of game where once you have the resources going, you can just kind of bomb through everything and it will be fine. The stage sections are mostly nullified by Sanai, Snakes. This is nice dodging on the final spell, but it could have definitely moved up a little more to avoid having to do with some of those densest dodges. Okay, God, this background noise is really distracting. Oh, now they pick up the sutra. Ah, whatever. If it works for them. I don't think I need to mention just how busted the Centipede card can be. They have the third slot unlocked, so it seems like they should definitely have the Centipede card already. I mean, they're doing a Lunatic 1C, so I have to assume that they've already beat an extra. But the Centipede card gives scaling power as you shoot enemies, as your shots connect with enemies. Now, this scaling gets to ridiculous degrees. It resets every time you bomb or you die. You can bring cards to nullify that. The most obvious card would be Erin's Elixir, which trades 2 bombs to do a... not really... I guess it's more of a border break effect every time you get hit, so it's not really a bomb. It doesn't really do much damage unless you're point blank on the boss. But you use that to kind of just preserve the fact that your Centipede buff exists and you don't want it to reset. And on top of that, you can also bring Aki's card, which costs... well, not cost, but it eats up 200 gold every time you die, and produces the same cancel effect, but makes you not die. So the key thing is just not dying. The hit doesn't count as long as you have enough resources to make either the Elixir or Aki's card work. So those, along with the Centipede, are a very effective way of going about this game. You'll have so much power that you tear through late game patterns like without even really trying. And you have a lot of extra hits that you can take, just in general. If you're not comfortable with that, my personal playstyle is I like to bring the Mallet, because stage 1 is easy enough to farm. And the Mallet will give you a lot of extra gold to just buy whatever you want throughout the whole run. Whereas on a normal run like this, you might actually be out of gold during the early game, for instance. Alright, the first spell here is just a route. She'll just screw off the screen for a little bit, but then... what are they doing? It works. Yeah, she'll just move off screen for a little bit, but after a while she'll come back on screen and then you can shoot her down. And these rings of sorts are basically constantly aimed towards her. The gap will be oriented towards where she is on the screen. So you just need to sort of move in a triangular pattern to make sure that you give yourself enough space. Fanging that is fine, but there really wasn't any need to. That spell is not threatening. And you can see that some of the bomb damage from the third explosion that actually carried into the spell and even cancel some of the bullets here, so... yeah, that's a good time to use a Fang, and then circle around. Yeah, good damage. Very nice. Alright, third non here is I mean, all the non-spells are static with some of a random movement, but they were dodging pretty well for most of that until they got hit. Yeah, the bomb just skipped that pattern. See, that's what I mean, like, when you bomb at the right time to just skip entire patterns, and there's like, that, then why not just bring the Fang? Why not just bring the pipe card? It'll just get extra lives, you'll get a lot of extra lives. Yeah, this is a video on YouTube if it wasn't obvious enough already, and all of that static in the background is coming from the video. I don't know why they recorded with the mic on, but it looks like they don't know how to do the survival. It's a very simple survival. You just need to basically stay in this gap, and then when it rotates, do one dodge through one of these, and then you'll be fine. Just... This is a pattern that I would say honestly that even 1cc players can capture easily, as long as you just learn it. And oh god, what was that death? Alright, if you do that, then the run's going to be closer than it should be, but... Oh, 2 power. Wonderful. Alright, the Fang dealt enough damage there. One bomb, take it half health, and then the other bomb should be able to kill it just fine. If not, heavily wounded to the point where... I don't think we can at this point. Yeah, just bomb it. Alright, well, GG. That's a 1cc regardless, but... is definitely one of those games where the bomb, well, oh god, all of that background static. is a game where the resource system can easily carry you to victory, and you can see that Sana bomb, the enhanced bomb, mind you, really carried the late game there. Died a lot with bombs in stock, wasted a lot of resources, but that's the kind of leeway that the cards can give you. But again, I question some of the card decisions, especially what they started out with. But 1cc is a 1cc. If they want to go for like another shot type, or if they want to like go to a different game, do another Lunatic Survival 1cc, then definitely they need to take a different approach to it. Because is looking like, increasingly, it's looking like probably on par with Moth for easiest Lunatic 1cc, I would say. So yeah, it's a very fun game for casual play for sure, but yeah, that's our first run of the day. And I do understand that they actually requested that we don't skip anything past the stage 1 boss, but we have 7 runs to go through in the stream, and honestly, survival, there's really not much interesting going on in stage 1 to 3 anyway, so sorry for that, but I was going to skip that anyway. We're gonna move on now to the second run of the day, which should be a TD survival with Yomu, and same thing for that, honestly. I'm sorry, but we have 7 runs to go through today, so I'm going to have to skip through more than you requested. Though, apparently this run actually attempts to score to be much higher of a score than a regular 1cc, so let's have a look at what that has to offer. And this was done with Yomu, which is a very fun shot type to use in TD. Not one that everybody's used to, but it's definitely a very, very powerful one. Charge shots are not everyone's cup of tea, understandably, but if you know how to use them right, they are some of the most satisfying shot types to use in the entire series. And did I even download this replay? Hang on a second. My dude, you gave me your God, your submission links to Lunacast without anything else. How am I supposed to look for your replay like this? Give me a second to try to find it. God damn it. For those of you who somehow don't know, you can right-click on your name, on your player name once you upload the replay onto Lunacast, and then right-click on that and click copy link address, and that is the direct link to your replay, so I can download it. If you don't do that, then we have no idea what it is. I don't see it. Is it? Oh god, it's submitted on 12... No, it's submitted on 2nd December, was it? I think I found it. Tell me if it's wrong. Tell me it's the wrong one, but I'm gonna download this one and see. Yeah, please, just... Don't just give me a link to Lunacast, because that's not helpful. Right, anyway. This one, right? This is probably the one. This is the only one I see with your username on Lunacast. Alright. Yeah, sorry, but we're going to definitely skip through a bit more than you asked for. We have a lot of runs to go through. Oh god, what the hell? Why is it so fast? One sec. My V-patch is... Oh, no, not that. My V-patch settings have set the... What the? 1 second. Ah, it appears that my replay skip FPS was unlimited. Let me limit that for a second. Alright, let's do that again. Okay, what the... No, no, that's not working. Ugh. Screw it. Let's just not use vpatch then. Didn't think this would be a problem, but... Alright, that's better. Alright, TD Lunatic is a very route-heavy game. If you need to be somewhat familiar with all the stages so that you can shotgun kill enemies. You need to be able to pick up their spirits somewhat safely, and then you need to know when to trance to get the most amount of resources. There are basically always like specific sections during the stages where resource fairies spawn, and if you kill them fast enough, then they spawn more resource fairies. So if you trance during those sections, you'll get a lot more resources. And you can see here, these are pretty much the optimal speed kill routes, using slashes there effectively, and then yeah, that's a good resource trance there as well for stage 2. Bombing that, I guess it's good for survival as well. The mid spell is something you can just kind of learn over time. The bubble hitboxes are something that you just get used to. Well, I mean, okay, if this is a survival run, then it doesn't really matter. TD infamously executing the game referred to as XXC in the past, because you can just kind of bomb point blank the bosses and then trance in order to skip boss fights basically. It expends resources, but you're gonna use those resources in the ones you see anyway, and you'll have more than enough bombs in a good trance route run, which it looks like they're actually executing quite well. Like, yeah, they speed kill Kogasa here, which will, I mean, okay, maybe not that optimal. Ideally for resources, you actually want to trance quite late into Kogasa's second spell, and not kill it so fast such that you like skip. Or rather, you want to like skip this fairy spam so that you spawn these resource fairies and collect the trance and collect these along with the resource pieces that Kogasa herself drops. But it doesn't really matter. They still got plenty of resources this way. I think it's actually the same amount, so yeah. Anyway, those are aimed, this is aimed. Not collecting those fast, but that's fine. Still charged enough. Alright, then Yoshika is a bit awkward with Yomu, because you don't want to kill those spirits with your slash, so you have to unfocus shoot, but they did that just fine. And then this spell is usually mostly just a timeout. Yeah, there you go. Alright. Stage 4 starts with just a bunch of slashes, kills a lot of enemies quickly, which will drop a lot of grey spirits. And then from there, move to the bottom. Here you want to shoot unfocused usually. Oh, that's a bit risky! Oh, well. I kinda saw that one coming. If you don't really know what you're doing there, then that can happen very easily. And unfortunately, that means that they actually miss out on trancing what would otherwise be a very good section, because that section spawns fairies. Like, they can spawn like up to 6 or I think, yes, usually up to 6 like bomb piece fairies, which gives you a lot of extra bombs. Yeah, 2 bombs. It's a lot of bombs. TD as a game is notorious for being quite stingy with the lives. You can see that the life piece requirement actually increases with every extra life that you get. But the bomb piece requirement never increases, and there's plenty of bomb pieces in the game to it. So you can't really die that much, but you can absolutely bomb a lot in this game. Yeah, just skip that with a trance, and then collect those extra resources. And this section will be more than enough to refill all of your trance gauge, especially considering that we have a spam section out of this. This again, try not to die. Oh no, oh no. Well, a bomb is fine. Alright. So far I'm not really seeing that much scoring per se. This is still mostly just a survival run with good trance routes. But the trances are executed very well, that's for sure. Oh no, 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 no. Yeah, you need to be in good position at the start of that wave, otherwise you'll just get overwhelmed very quickly. I think one of the most optimal methods to do that is actually to start at one side, because you'll be able to speed kill almost all of the fairies from one side. And you have to only deal and sort of like leave your options trailing behind you to the right. If you're on the left side, you leave your options trailing behind you to the right, and that can take care of the fairies from the other side as well. But yeah, that final section there, I can see that they were trying to leave spirits on screen to collect after the trance, but they kind of just like accidentally sucked up all the spirits from one corner anyway, so whoops. Not that necessary for 1cc anyway, can be helpful for charge your next trance, but we're gonna come up on Sega and Yoshika, and this is a boss that you can definitely XXC through regardless. Let's skip through the dialogue. Alright. Now, I'm aware that this timing for a stream is not ideal. Some of you may be wanting to watch a particular entertainment event that is occurring in real life right now, but hey, I have zero interest in that, so we're gonna do this. Oh, what is that? Alright, now, the unfortunate thing about that is that because they collected the bomb piece from that spell during that post-death trance, they actually ended up wasting 8 bomb pieces. But, well, you can, if you notice that that's about to happen, what you can do is that you can intentionally avoid picking up that bomb piece so you don't shotgun as hard. You obviously still want to kill the boss, but your trance slash is long range enough to do that without picking up the bomb piece by accident. Now, yeah, Yomu slashes just decimate Sega as a whole because they can pass right through Yoshika, so Yoshika's not really blocking your shot. And then, oh. Yeah, don't try not to do that. I know that that non-spell in particular, if you kill Yoshika by accident, then it's gonna go berserk, but Yomu should be able to take care of the pattern before it's able to really, like, fully do that. And that final there, Yomu is among the only shots that can actually hit Yoshika from the back easily, so it reduces the difficulty of the pattern by a very significant amount. But I'll be honest, not the best boss fights so far. This resource count is looking a bit low. No, this is probably the last extend, so 3 lives remaining. But there's a lot of bomb pieces coming up regardless, so still definitely a lot of chances to get a lot of extra resources. Like here, for instance. 1 slash takes care of 3, and then another slash will take care of the next 3. Oh no, didn't quite catch the last one. Trance, good. Now, it's not like you're actually able to preserve your trance into the next resource section, but this grants you a bit of extra iframes to use during this section. Though, admittedly, you just can kind of slash this. The bomb isn't quite able to fill. That's a shame. Just collect that, just collect that! If you just collected those, then you could have tranced the other half of the resources, but never mind, that's fine. Assuming all 4 life pieces on stage 6 get picked up, then I'm not sure if there's enough life pieces in the boss fight. If you trance enough of it, then there should be to get the 18 extend. But it's gonna be close. Thankfully this non-spell is really easy, so you can just do whatever. Alright, trouncing this is fine. It's a bit of a tricky spell, but once you'll kind of learn how to dodge that pattern, it's not that difficult. And then you'll want to try to build your gauge back during this section for the final resources in this stage, which are a lot more bomb pieces. Now, the trances have been good so far, and there's been a lot of boss trances. So the PIV is very high for a 1cc run, but in more traditional scoring, what would happen is that resources are not really trances often. Instead, the trances are reserved for sections of enemy spam where there's a lot of blue spirits on screen, because the blue spirits will grant 100 additional PIV instead of 10 PIV when they're collected during a trance. But this is not really a score run per se, this is just sort of score rival. So that's alright. Alright. Fudonons are just bow app, but it can be a bit tricky to try to dodge, especially if you're not familiar with the hitboxes of these arrows, which the hitbox is actually entirely within the tip of the arrow. There is no hitbox in the hilt of the arrow at all, so you don't have to worry about that. Alright, this is well, not quite good. If you want to maximize your gains on that, then you want to, during your bomb, you actually want to be on top of the boat, in between Fudo and the boat, because both can't consider enemy objects and you can shotgun both of them at once. Alright, throwing plates is just a random dodging spell, this should be fine. Okay. But the slasher should take care of it, yeah, there you go. Alright, that's a good trance dash. I think that life piece was double. Carry some of the damage through into this spell. And then, okay, good dodging. Very nice. Alright, yeah, then there should be no problems with getting the 18 extend. I think I missed out on there being 2 life pieces at the end of stage 5. Yeah, I must have forgotten about that. But yeah, this spell should not be too much of a problem for you. Okay. Alright, that got a bit too close there, but that's alright. Alright, the spell's gonna unfold into its random spam section now, which can be a bit intimidating. The slasher should take care of it before it becomes too much of a problem. Ooh. Ah! That's a shame. It's alright, it's alright. Yeah, this is absolutely enough resources for stage 6. And stage 6 itself will drop a lot of bomb pieces as well. If you let it. I think for survival you definitely do want those additional bomb pieces. So during the ferry trains after the laser yin yang section, you will want to not kill the head of the ferry train at all. With Yomu, unfortunately that means that you can't. You have to be very careful. You can't slash. That slash will just take out everything. But more importantly, when you trance, you also can't. You need to be very careful with your movement. It's actually one of the biggest challenges to avoid killing the ferry trains entirely with your trance. But let's see how you do. Alright, that's 1, 2, trance. Alright, not shooting is smart here because that will reduce the amount of damage dealt to the big ferries as a whole. But yeah, that's alright. Picked up more than enough there. Yeah, earn like 2 bombs from that and very close to the next bomb anyway. And now the life pieces. These life pieces are... There's no need to double these. The next life piece is at 20, I believe. So the next life extend is at 20 or 21, I don't remember, but it's practically unreachable for just a regular 1cc, so there's no need to try to trance those. What is this? I guess you're on the bomb head. Alright, translating the spell is fine, it's difficult. And that's the extent, it's 20, alright. Not gonna do the weave through here? That's fine, because your slash will take care of it quickly. The trance damage is very significant with Yomu. Ah, you wanted to fill the gauge. It's not that fast. Yeah, this spell I'm surprised that there was a bomb, but it's alright. This is... At this point, just play for safety. Alright, Slash takes care of that. There's a route that you can do on this, but with Yomu in particular... Well, especially with Yomu, I suppose. You'll be doing very little damage. It's just safe to bomb this one 1cc, yeah. Very good. Next non-spell is a bit tricky for 1cc level. Just bomb it? Alright. This spell is just spinning around. Ah! Oh dear. Yeah, I can totally understand that. It's, the spinning movement is a little tricky, honestly. It's generally not a very difficult spell, but if you're not used to spinning or if you get nervous in a moment, then you can definitely mistap and that happens. But this is still much more than enough resources to clear comfortably, so it's alright. And besides, the PIV is almost at 250k at this point, which is the PIV cap on normal. Ah! Sad Defiance. Bomb should take care of it. Oh, not quite. One more bomb? Ah, that's alright. Alright, now the final phase of this final spell actually has bomb and trance damage immunity. Not immunity, but heavy armor on that phase, so You're not actually able to do much damage if you bomb or trance during those parts. But it still grants you a lot of additional just invulnerability, so it's just good for safety anyway. One piece away from the next bomb, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Yeah, you can see that Miko here is not really taking damage. But this is a nice setup to go into this phase. Couple slashes should take it down. One more. There we go. Very nice. That is a very nice and solid 1cc there. The pretty much trans like almost everything that you'd have wanted to. Missed a couple here and there. But the trances were executed well, the boss fights were well skipped. So yeah, that's just a very standard and cleanly done TD1cc. A lot of bombs, but that's to be expected from this game. And the score definitely is much higher than most 1cc runs of this level. But that's mostly because they bombed a lot. They bombed and tranced the boss a lot. Which most 1cc runs, they will actually try to capture some of these patterns to save resources. But, you know, this just goes to show just how many resources you can really spend on boss fights in this game. Alright, we're gonna move on to our next run of the day. It's going to be another video. Let me just boot that up real quick. This is an LLS LNB run. You can hear that in the background already. Where is it on YouTube? Where is it in OBS? Hello? Alright, why is the audio quality so crunchy? 1 second, I need to... Why is this video squished? Why is this video stretched? I'll just shrink it, fuck. That'll do. Alright, let's have a look at, oh, what'd I do? Copy the wrong thing. LLS. This is an LMB with Reimu A. Alright, normal skips, but show the LE fight, okay. Alright, we'll be fast forwarding. I mean, it's unfortunately YouTube is YouTube. We can't skip that quickly, so I think I'll actually have to skip it like manually, but LLS as a game, as a whole, the game is not that difficult for survival for 1cc because the game just drops a ton of resources on you. But for LMV, it can be it's still not a terribly difficult LMV, but there are a lot of meme things that can happen in the game. Alright. That's the early fight. Alright. This audio quality is questionable. This is a standard fare for the start of Ellie's fight. You can sort of just like ignore the difficulty of the pattern by being up here. And then we move on to the actual fight itself. So Ellie actually throws out her scythe and it will kill you if you get hit by it. So you just need to be careful of that. Other than that, oh! Unfortunate snipe there. But Rainbow A is for the series, this is actually a pretty decent homing shot. Or rather, I guess the better way to put it is that Rainbow B in this game is kind of awful, so this is like as good as it gets on Rainbow. Ah, okay, this is not good. Yeah, I think I hit by the scythe there. Ooh. I'm sorry, I have to lower this video audio. It's like it's just too crunchy. Yeah, that alley was unfortunate. 2 deaths. Well, what is there to say about LLS really? PC98 game is the 4th game in the series. It has... Okay, so LLS is actually... LLS features focus mode, which is very helpful for dodging. But on top of that, well, it still doesn't have any hitbox display. That's not happening until PCB. But this game's unique system is the Dream system, which, I mean, for PC98, it's not that... Oh god, what is this? For PC98 Touhou, there's not that much of a system to deal with, survival-wise. The Dream system is pretty much all for scoring. You see that those blue items that occasionally dropped, quite rarely actually, those blue items increase your Dream, and the higher your Dream, the more your point items are worth. That's pretty much about it. There's nothing that the Dream benefits survival-wise, so there's not much need to pay attention to that. I swear Flower Tank shouldn't be this difficult. Hang on. Let me check the point extents in LLS, because I don't think it's that difficult to reach them. It's 3, 8, 15, 22, and 30 million. Yeah, it's not that hard to reach. Hikariko is 10 times harder on Lunatic. Here's the reason why Alone takes so long. And rings. Alright. We are going to see a very stupid section at the end of this stage. Wait, is it this stage? No, next stage, sorry. Wait, no, hang on, no. I'm mixing up the games again. No, this is stage 4. Yeah, this is stage 4. We are still in Esprit. The boss of this stage is... God, I actually can't remember any. No, the boss of this stage is Marissa. Yeah, the rings is next stage. I like how the translation patches always have some issues with them. Some of the sprites aren't displaying correctly. Ah. Oh, what is that flickering? Okay, I'm not used to the whole screen flickering like that, but okay. Yeah, this is not an easy boss fight. Oh! Alright, don't get rammed by those. Dodge out, nice. And that should be most of the fight down. Final phase. Ah. Now, I believe that I don't know if it's the most common or the strongest survival shot, but Marissa B in this game deals like an obscene amount of damage with her lasers, so generally I see a lot of survival runs done with her instead of like the other shots, but Rainbow A is like the second option because the other two shots are just not very good. Alright, now this is stage 5. If you somehow don't know how this game goes, Marissa A, sorry. If you somehow don't know how this game goes, stage 5 and 6 both feature Yuka, just in different forms, I think. But the end of this stage section is one of the dumbest stage sections probably in Touhou history. It's called Rings, and you will see very quickly why it's called Rings. One of the reasons why LLS and LNN took a really long time is because of just stupid RNG sections like Rings and Hikariko as well. A lot of people, well, I don't know about a lot of people, it's PC98 still, but low miss runs were like not. There are a lot of players that have like low miss runs or just LMBs of this game, and generally it's not that difficult, but Rings makes LNN itself very, very stupid. It doesn't look that difficult yet, but well, yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's just a lot of dice rolls in this game, which is not very nice. Alright. Now, the Yuka fights are not that difficult in general. Stage 6 Yuka might be considered one of the easiest final bosses in the series. But let's see how they do. The screen flickering is a bit weird. I've not really seen that happen before in PC98, but eh. Alright, nice dodge. And then okay, that ends very quickly. Alright. That pattern doesn't serve much purpose other than being a blind killer, but one more time. Nice! Well done, well done. And that's stage 5. Yeah, the boss itself is not that difficult. You just need to execute the last part there. Stage sections, I mean, stage sections in PC98 are rarely that difficult. I mean, normal stage sections, that is. Other than just stupid bullet spam. But, Rainbow 8 trivializes it even further, and there's not much to do. There's actually just not much to do. Alright, and now these last enemies in the stage will drop just powerful items. First a big power item, then a bomb, and the last one, guess what? How generous. Oh, there's one more. If you somehow weren't already at full power. And also that just cancels out all the bullets, so lol. Alright, stage 6 Yuka, this is the final boss. Starts off a crisscross pattern. Alright. And now we move on to... Oh, right, this pattern first. Weird gimmick pattern where you just kind of need to not move. Why is this a final boss pattern? Alright, now we're gonna see... Oh, not quite yet. There we go, Master Sparks, but... These Master Sparks are predictable, and the hitboxes on them don't extend nearly that much horizontally, so... It is weird that they're not, staying at the top because it is completely safe there, but... I guess they wanted to dodge something? Almost ran into the bullet lane there. Alright, yeah, that's expected. One more death. Finished with no lives left, but whatever, it worked out. There was like 2 deaths to Ellie as well, which is bad, but yeah. GG. Very nice LMV there. Not much to say about LSS, honestly. It's just the game is just it's PC98 Touhou, and it's not much of a system, not much of a PC98 Touhou being on an older system. older specifications obviously has some limitations. So usually the patterns are simpler, not much to say about them, but yeah, that final is very dumb. Alright, what's our next run? Oh, another PC98 title. It is a... Wait, sorry, nope, I skipped one. It's gonna be a Moth LMB first, so we're gonna take one short break from PC98. But this should be a fun watch regardless. Moth LMB with a Reimu B, and their run comment is just the link to their replay typed out. I don't know why it's that, but okay. Moth, yes. Short type is Reimu B because the other short types for Reimu are kind of not good. Runs, so we're gonna skip the usual here as they requested. Alright, will you show up? There we go. And let's go. The starting choice, the starting cards for the UM1CC was weird. They brought the wolf, the rabbit's foot, and the lucky cat. But other than that, it's a pretty standard Lunatic 1CC, clutched out by having a tail picked up to give them a lot of extra resources. And then towards the end of the run, they started abusing Sanai's powered-up bomb with the scroll, but that's it, really. No one up before Minariko? Oh, that's a shame. Bad at scoring, SMH. Yeah, the Phoenix tail is... I understand the idea of the card, but it's stupid. It's just so stupid. I don't understand bringing the rabbit's foot for a 1cc. There are just better cards and better combos that you can bring. Especially considering that it looked like they really knew how to abuse the bomb. They knew how to abuse the bombs in late game, so why didn't they just abuse the bomb the whole way through and brought Fang Pipe Sutra? But whatever. Hydro Camel Death is expected. It's very stupid. No, what actual survival benefit does the rabbit's foot confer you though? Just extended death bomb window? It's not like Iron, but... Oh well. Loved when I got Ella, then passed Camera and forgot yeah, that's don't worry, it happened during TWC! If you remember, we had the Chinese player for UFO scoring actually have invincibility on during their runs, and then they realized when they got hit on, I think, Kogasa, and then just, like, had to reset the run because of it. Alright, stage 4, we're gonna approach Momiji soon. One of the biggest difficulty curve, one of the biggest points of difficulty in Moth. Just, I don't know what it is, but this non-spell is stupid. Ah! Well, alright. Frankly, that wasn't even the right gap, the right spot to be in to begin with, but yeah. It looks like a time down. Alright, good. And that will allow you to skip most of the waterfall section, because The second waterfall section, if you kill Momiji too quickly, it's just waterfall, but the enemies come relentlessly and it's stupidly difficult to try to restream, which means that you'll probably die there anyway. And yeah, that miss there being so early is bad because it means that you have to dodge a lot of Momiji's pattern in order to do the time down properly. Not quite able to make it to the right side. The RNG is a bit nasty here, but it's alright. What is this? Alright, alright. Aya, couple pain points on Aya. First spell, one of them, potentially stupid RNG can happen, but the non-spells are all quite fine. Shouldn't be really too difficult. Oh sorry, I meant second spell. First spell is generally not that difficult. And of course there's PWG as well, which is only a very stupid RNG pattern. Alright, let's see if Storm Day does anything nasty. Not that bad. Not bad. Okay. And pattern should die soon. Ooh. Alright. Third non, sometimes the gap is a bit too small for its own good, but alright, there we go. PWG. Right side. Alright, RNG's being nice so far. Okay, that's a good dodge. Very nice. Oh, okay. Alright. Very good cap. The final here is not that difficult, so this should be an easy cap, and then we'll move on to stage 5, which is well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. There we go. Very nice. This is how many misses has it been so far? Hydro Camo, Momiji. They got all the extents already, right? Yeah, it's 3 miss. Yeah, 3 miss. But looks like I missed the. I think I'm. Oh, God, what was that? Oh no. Well, that can happen if you fuck up the streaming. But it looks like I missed a miss. I missed a death on Hina somehow. Wasn't paying attention, but yeah, there we go. 3 miss, 4 miss now. So they still have 4 lives for the rest of the game. Now, thankfully, the rest of stage 5 should not be difficult. I say that, but they'd already died on the stage section. The rest of stage 5 should not be too difficult. Sanae is not a very difficult boss fight herself. Moses Miracle can be a bit stupid sometimes. Other than that, Kanako is the main difficulty, so we'll see how many lives they bring into Kanako. And I guess the Death Fairy at the end of stage 6 as well. I've seen that happen before, honestly. It's just, if you do the misdirect incorrectly, if you do the streaming incorrectly, then because of the way those bullets work, sometimes they'll curve into you in a very nasty fashion. I don't think that was a micro. That mid-boss spell there is actually static, so you can just do a route for it every time. Alright. End of the stage. I mean, it should be just streaming. It's static even on normal, yes. Generally, if a pattern is static on one difficulty, it's like static on all of them. Unless the pattern has like a significant change between difficulties, which isn't really the case with most of them. Micro through the blue lane before mid-boss. Oh yeah. Forgetting to route that? If it works and you haven't gotten punished yet, then okay, whatever. Alright, Moses Miracle. Not a very comfortable Moses so far. Oh, jeez. Alright, barely got the kill in, but it works. This spell is static. And then the final is static and aimed. Nice. 4 lives into stage 6. This is I mean with 4 misses earlier, this is literally a perfect stage 5, which is... Wait, no, sorry. Not perfect stage 5, they died in the stage section, but... as good a pace as possible from that point on, so... This is going to be, we're gonna see how many deaths they have to Kanako, really, that's the main thing. This section here is just streaming. It's easier if you start on the right side, but... almost streamed a bit too much there, but that's fine. Other than Sanai is generally not that difficult because the main point, the difficulty is just in Moses. So once you get through that, there's not much difficulty there. And yeah, every boss other than apart from Hina, apart from Momiji mid boss, but that doesn't really count. Alright, Death Fairy. Ah! Ah! Death Fairy wasn't letting up all the way to the end there either. Alright, Kanako's first non is kind of tough to read. Once you're good enough at it, it's like you'll be good enough to dodge it consistently, but if you're not, then it can be tough. First spell is free, it's just aimed. Unless you fuck up the aiming, in which case that's your problem. Second non is just kind of sidestepping left and right. Why is this a 6-6 non? Alright, then Divine Porridge here. Sorry, no, this is Divining Crop. Divining Crop is very weird. The rice bullets here actually feature the hitboxes of the jelly beans, so they're quite deceptively large, but made it through regardless. It's just kind of just a bit tricky of micro. This non, if you don't wall yourself, you should be fine. Yamato Taurus is just random dodging. RNG shouldn't be too rough, usually. What is that? Okay. Okay, the RNG was kind of rough there. Final non here, she'll stay invincible for long periods, but you can damage her quite easily, and the phases are all like predictable and easy to dodge, so... There we go. The knife one is the spookiest one, yeah. Oh, didn't quite make it. Gonna have to dodge this again. Alright, Source of Rains. This is one of the biggest difficulties, I think. All of the bullets here feature the hitboxes of the fireballs. Well. Yeah, that death is a bit early. This is gonna be close. Okay, well, the RNG's been really rough so far, but oh, gonna have to cap VOWG. Now, VOWG has two approaches generally. One is a micro, where you have to micro through some of the walls when they give you bad positioning. But the way that I've seen being recommended more and more is just macroing around everything. Looks like this is mostly a macro strat. Oh, okay, well that's a false micro. Alright. Just a little bit more and very nicely done. That's quite a clutch VOWG there, but clearing an LMV of 0 lives. Well done. Well done. That's RNG got really bad on some of those patterns, but you made it through regardless. Very, very nicely done there. We're gonna move on to our next run now, which is actually a score run of PODD, so we're back to PC98, and the video quality has not been so good on some of the previous runs, some of the previous videos, but this one should be good. Kirby knows how to record stuff properly. But it's actually not on Lunatic, it's on Hard, and well, Pod is a very difficult game, so the difficulty is I'm not even sure how much of a difference the difficulty really even makes. Enough. It's probably enough. Allow me to go ahead and check out the run as well as the notes that they've so helpfully provided with all of their submissions so far. But let me load this video up. Kirby even timestamps where he wants me to skip to in the video, which is very nice. Right, give me a second while I resize this as well. This could have LNN if I did in the 7th. Well, you know, LMVs are just like a step towards LNN, so almost there. You'll get it soon, I think, probably. Anyway, pod pod scoring is this is a Phantasmagoria game, which means that it's a versus shmup. Now your versus in pod you can only versus an AI, and for scoring, the crux of it is that you don't want the AI to die too quickly. But there's not much you can do to influence that, because the AI, for both this game and for POFV, they have a sort of timer on how long they will live, and then after that, they will kind of just let themselves die. You have enough extra lives in this game that, well, not enough extra lives per se, but you will want to suicide away all of your extra lives in this game, so you will need to make sure that you... Oh, it looks like... Oh, did they submit 2 at once? The notes here is for Pod, Hart, Ellen scoring, not Marissa, so... Did they submit another run? No, I don't see it, unless they requested to change it, but... Don't see it. No, I think this was their last run notes, but they didn't change it, but it's alright. It's pretty much just that pod scoring is about wanting to chain, you want to keep your chains. You want to cancel bullets. The white pellets can be cancelled. You will want to hit the fireballs. Those fireballs, they can be shot down, and then their explosions can also trigger. All enemy explosions can chain into killing other enemies. So that's how you chain enemy kills in this game. You want to chain the fireball kills. Sometimes there'll be giant groups of fireballs that you can shoot and chain, and that will give you a lot of points as well. But mostly you will have to just deal with dodging, because this game is not like POFV where you have cancels from your charge. You can't cancel anything via charging in this game. You can only really cancel stuff via killing enemies and having their explosions clear bullets, so you have to dodge quite a significant amount of stuff in this game. You have to just learn how to dodge the patterns in this game as well. Scoring wise, you will be suiciding in late game, where the enemies have the longest timers. The enemy timers will decrease with each death, so you will want to make sure that you suicide pretty much as late as possible in terms of just the stages. So you want to suicide in 7, 8, or 9, but also you want to suicide as late into the timer as possible. Generally speaking, you will just need to keep track of your enemy's health, and when they're down to like no health whatsoever, you will want to take the hits intentionally and then die. Otherwise, if they die too early, then you don't even have a chance to suicide at all. Technically speaking, you can always just spend all the suicides on Chiori, which is the final boss. No, sorry, not Chiori, Yumemi, on the final boss of the game, and generally that's quite profitable. But Yumemi is also one of the most difficult boss fights in Touhou history. Her patterns are obnoxious to dodge, so for safety reasons, generally I think Kirby will plan some suicides earlier into the run on stage 7, 8, or 9. So on stage 7 and 8 would be I don't remember what they fight on 7, but on 8 it would be Chiori. So we will see what suicides they do, because the run notes here are still covering Ellen's, which is a previous submission. So after a suicide, basically some of the starting values for boss rank and spell rank, which affects how difficult the patterns that are sent between the screens are, those will... Spell rank doesn't reset, boss rank resets to original value +2, and then on top of that, enemies start with a higher move speed and reach top speed faster into the round, which makes the round score higher after a suicide. Basically just making up for the fact that the enemies will have... the bosses will have shorter timers after a suicide, and so the round themselves will be shorter. But yeah, that's the gist of scoring. It's just dragging out the rounds as long as you can. Oh, you can't influence it really, but dragging out the rounds as much as possible, and then chaining enemies, cancelling bullets, killing the fireball bunches that you saw on the last stage. And other than that, just good dodging. Now, Reimu, like how she has in POFV, she has these yin-yangs that fire off and bounce around the screen, which can be kind of annoying to read. So that's something to keep note of. But Marissa's attacks herself are almost entirely comprised of these white pellets, which are easy enough to cancel. So that's a plus side. Sorry, not Marissa. Reimu's lower level attacks. Now, if she sends over a level 3 like that, then obviously you can't cancel those. But if she sends over level 2s, then oh god, no, this is bad. It looks like they're gonna want to suicide on this round actually. Yeah, they're taking hits intentionally. Alright, that's a good fireball cluster. So Marissa, for scoring, I believe that her laser is decently helpful. The charge speed on Marissa is not too slow, so you can get good use out of the laser. And the laser itself deals a lot of damage, and I think it's close to insta-killing enemies, if not insta-killing enemies. So you'll notice that the enemies in this game, they take several shots to damage and then kill. They'll change color and then they'll explode. So the laser itself helps tremendously with that. And it has piercing, which not sure how useful that is, but it helps, I guess. Alright, so Reimu here. Oh, what the hell? Oh, Reimu's hyper ended. Alright, I don't know if they intended to suicide there, but Reimu actually died there, so what Reimu was using was a hyper, which happens after Reimu uses both of her bombs, after the AI uses both of their bombs, and then if they're at max gauge, they can trigger a hyper, which will grant them better shot power and permanent invincibility for the duration of the hyper. But the moment the hyper ended, Reimu got hit, so the round kind of just ended right there. I think they were intending the suicide, but I got the suicide denied, so that's unfortunate. Alright, now against Chiuri. Chiuri's boss fires almost nothing but white pellets, so they can be quite profitable to score, to cancel. But as an enemy, she can be very annoying. Her EX attack that she sends from, I believe, the fireballs, they're these diagonal lasers. They're completely random. And on top of that, her normal attacks, level 2, level 3, they're just aim streams. But sometimes you'll be trapped between lasers and then you're forced to stream, and then you have no enough space and you run into the laser or you run into the stream and then you take damage, and that's something that can happen. Especially once the round heats up. Once the boss rank reaches a high enough level. Oh, yep, see, right there. Yeah, so that's a situation where they were forced to bomb. Now, bombing is actually not very good for scoring. I believe that there's specific reasons for bombing that makes it like very bad for scoring. I can't remember exactly what. I don't believe that. I think it's because that you cancel all the bullets and then you don't get any points out of it. And then on top of that, there's I don't think you chain during it either. So bombing is really used as just well, survival, really. But if they're trying to survive this hard, are they really going to suicide 4 times on your Memi? It looks like it at this rate. Alright, it looks like they wanted to try to cancel the fireball cluster there, but then the laser got in the way. Eesh! Alright, the laser despawned in time, but... Ooh, random pellet almost hit them there. Alright, it looks like they're taking hits intentionally now. So it looks like they do actually want to suicide. Ah, there we go. Yeah. There's not that many iframes in this game, so you can take hits rapidly, and they noticed that Chiri was down to half a heart, which is the last hit, so they wanted the suicide on this round, so they went ahead and got hit several times there to suicide themselves first. Now the reason for suiciding is because the score bonus that you get from clearing with extra lives is not really enough to make up for the amount of score that you can get from an additional round of play. So they will be spending all of their remaining lives at some point or another. I think this might be one suicide on Chiri, if not two, and then Yumemi will be the remaining lives dumped. Though suiciding on Yumemi is always quite risky because Yumemi herself is still a very difficult boss fight, and you risk game overing if you use up all of your extra lives. But I mean, at this level of scoring, and Kirby is like very high level pod scoring, pretty much world record. I think, yeah, it is world record level scoring. It's just like you have to do it. Oh, unfortunate hit there. Looked like a fireball cluster got cancelled on the left side of the screen before it spawned. Okay, well, I don't know if that was intentional. It didn't really look like it. What the? What happened? Oh my god. Really? Come on, what the hell, YouTube? Alright, alright. The video quality is not good. No, it is a H. What the? Oh, whatever, it works. It's fine. Why did it buffer? It doesn't have any reason to buffer. My internet is like gigabit internet. Ah, whatever. Second suicide used there, so this is probably going to be 2-2 in suicides. I can't really tell whether that suicide was like intentional or just like, oh well, I got hit too much already. But the round 1 timers, well, okay, so the timers again, the timers dictate how long the enemies will, the AI will try to dodge, or basically remain invincible until they want to get hit, and then afterwards they'll rapidly take hits and then die afterwards. The timers reduced over, the timers will go down over time. Not over time. The timers will go down every time you die to the AI, so every time you suicide, the timer will go down for the next round. But the round 1 timer for stage 8 is actually 3 minutes and 40 seconds on hard, so these rounds will take quite a long time before the AI will want to get hit. But this is already the 3rd life on Chiri, so they're already down to 1 heart. The round timer is not that long here. But of key importance, the round 1 timer for Yumemi for stage 9 is infinite. The AI will never want to take hits voluntarily on stage 9. Yumemi will basically stay invulnerable until she gets walled, basically. So... okay... this is another death? I honestly can't tell whether this is a intentional suicide or not. At this point, the round timer has to be quite short, so I don't know if this is really worth it. I mean, obviously the round starts out a lot more hectic already, but... Oh, that's another hit. Maybe it is just worth milking Shiri. The extends in pod are... 1 second. One second, let me find it. You get extra lives at 10 and 20 million. That's it. Are they gonna spend another exercise here? Yeah, 2 extends for the whole game, and you start out with 2 extra lives as well, so you can lose 4 rounds in total. Alright, Shiri is hypering here, so when this hyper and well, there we go. I would have to guess that Shiri is probably worth milking more than Yumemi. Let me see if I can check the suicide round here. Yeah, in their previous submission with Ellen, they actually suicided twice in stage 8 and once in stage 7. So they also suicided a lot of Shiri additionally instead of Yumemi, and it actually does make sense considering that Shiri's boss attacks. The boss attack that she sends over is she sends out a lot of pellets, whereas Yumemi's are a lot of stars and a lot of bullshit. So this extra life that's brought into Yumemi is most likely just for safety. Well, rather than safety, I think it's better to say it's for being able to clear the fucking run, because again, the round 1 timer for stage 9 is infinite. The AI will not get hit unless it is completely walled, and it's not able to find a way to dodge out of the situation it's in. So that is not very likely to happen. The AI can dodge like mad. So Marissa would have to rely pretty much entirely on very, very good bullet RNG to do that, because the lasers are not nearly as threatening as for instance, Shiri's would be. And Yumemi's boss attack itself is it's very difficult, but it's not really something that you would like want to. It's not just something that you're really able to milk that much. You still want to be consciously cancelling as many bullets as you can, and it's very helpful during one of her attacks, which fires off instantaneously, which is the bullet cloud. Okay, you've already noticed easily by now, but she also fires off a lot of just crosses. Okay, that's a bomb for survival, because that pattern that Yumemi just fired on the side of the screen is actually stupid. I don't know about no hit, but elements of this game have happened. But no hit, I have no idea. I don't really follow this game that well, so it would have to take a phenomenal amount of good RNG to do so. And just insanely high focus dodging throughout. And yeah, Yumemi did take a hit there, but this RNG so far has frankly been quite decent for Marissa. Now, that is one thing where the piercing is useful. Marissa's laser is able to actually still hit Yumemi consistently because it has piercing. If not, then you have to contend with the fact that these crosses will absorb your shots. And that's actually what happened with the Ellen run that we watched a couple weeks back. Because Ellen does not have... Ellen's level 1 attack is powerful, but homes in randomly on enemies and also gets absorbed by the crosses. So she can do like almost no damage to Yumemi whatsoever. So her Yumemi fight is very difficult. Whereas Marissa's Yumemi fight is considerably more manageable thanks to the laser. And yeah, Kirby here is gonna activate the hyper here for survival. Yumemi's actually almost dead. What the hell? Are they just gonna take it though? Looks like they're more than content with a round 1 Yumemi if it happens. Another hyper. Needless to say, the longer you can survive on this round, the better your score was going to become. Every future round from here, well, if there is a future round, even just after one death, Yumemi will actually have a timer, and then she will start intentionally taking hits after a while. So this is the only round where you're constrained by either being too lucky or your dodging skills. And admittedly, bad RNG as well sometimes. Yes. Wait, no. No, I doubt that just the score from clearing with this extra life is gonna be worth more than another Yumemi round. But this is this Yumemi round has been lasting for a very long time now. We're gonna go back and check later how long this is actually, but they've managed to survive for a pretty absurd period of time. Another hyper there for survival. Hyper runs out. And Yumemi hypers. Yeah, this is the problem. The AI will be more than happy to use its hypers once it reaches a critical danger point. They've stopped shooting. Is there a reason for this? Do they just... no... They're not gonna kill the AI like this, so... What is the reason for not shooting here? Alright, shooting again. Maybe it was just to either take a breather or clear the screen for a little bit. Because the moment you shoot, then things can get very hectic. Now, if you stop shooting, the timer will also stop advancing, but I mean, again, infinite timer, so it doesn't matter. I should say if you stop shooting for long enough, which is basically if you just stop firing and stop killing enemies, then that'll happen. This... How long is this Umemi round gonna take? They actually still have 2 more hits, I think. I don't think they can die from 1 heart? Yeah, they can't die from 1 heart, so they actually still have 2 more hits before they will die. So this is really going to take a while. Alright, okay, that's a force typer. There are some attacks that Umemi fires out which are basically just undodgeable. Not shooting again? I have to say I really don't understand why it stopped shooting for long periods of time, but I also don't have the notes to explain it right now, since the notes are still from last time. Right, let's... Oh god. Oh my fucking god. There's 12 more minutes in this? One second. Well, I'm sorry, but we we have to get a move on as well at some point, so I will skip the rest of this round. Let's go ahead to the point of death, because it looks like Umemi also decided to not take a hit at all. And yeah, this is a this is a thing that can happen. If Umemi decides to start using a hypers, then you won't be able to really kill her at all. But I think it's pretty easy to see at this point that this run's pace is kind of insane. The last PV, we're already nearly at that, and we're still not even into the final round of Umemi yet. So yeah, finally the death there. Couldn't dodge that. That was just a survival death, but it's to be expected at some point anyway. So yeah, Umemi will have a timer at this point. So let's see how long. Video is not that much longer from here on out. It should be only a couple minutes. Umemi's timer is not that long. No, it's just you can't really expect to beat Yumemi, so in the first round you just want to last for as long as possible, and Yumemi is very hard to kill once he's down to half health. So they just kind of survived for as long as they could and then eventually got hit and died. Alright, they already beat the PB, so any improvement from here is a strict improvement to the record. And if this run clears, it's going to add a lot more points as well. From the round end bonuses. Alright, Yumemi is down 1 bomb. Forced to bomb that pattern. Alright, they can hyper. And Yumemi's forced to spend a second bomb. Well, not forced, they just decided to spend it. Hyper there. Yumemi's down to the last hit, so the death should be coming anytime soon and the run will be over. Alright, this is a hyper, but I think that she'll probably die after this hyper. Oh, bad hit there for Kirby. That's okay, that's very risky. And there we go. With that clear bonus, 93,716,770. Very, very long run. The video in total, up to this point, is a whopping 47 minutes. 47 minutes for one run. And if I trace back to earlier in the video, from the beginning of the Yumemi fight at around 26 minutes, the first round lasted until... Oh, Jesus! That first round took 16.5 minutes? Well, GG. That first round Yumemi is kind of stupid. 16.5 minutes is kind of stupidly long. So, yeah, that is definitely some insane RNG and just very good dodging throughout as well. Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get the notes because the link was to the Ellen run instead of this one. But still, very, very good run there. But we're gonna move on now to our last two runs of the day, which are 2 LNNs in a row. The first one is going to be the Iron LNN with border team, so this should be a fairly standard LNN. Let's get into it. Alright, let me boot it up. Okay, and then Randall's just says this one is easily the hardest LNN for me so far. I'm really glad I got it. Which other LNNs have you gotten? Because it's I mean, LNNs are kind of a big deal, regardless of the difficulty. Give me a second, and we'll start this replay. Alright, we will skip, I mean, we have to skip the usuals. I'm sorry, but I can't skip none of the sections. TD, Morphobok, and PCB. Oh, well done! That's quite a handful. Now, Iron LNN with Border Team is a very popular shot type because Border Team has the smallest hitbox possible in this game. It's the hitbox advantage is actually very significant, but to make up for that, the team's damage is it's okay, workable, definitely, but not fantastic compared to some of the other shot types. So some of the patterns will take a little longer, and that can sometimes make the difference. In late game of Iron, there are some RNG patterns which can sometimes mess you over very, very badly. For this, it's like I have to assume that, I mean, I think this is 6B, right? So Kaguya has a couple patterns which are pretty much just you need to hope that you get good enough RNG to not get completely screwed over. Yeah, Kaguya is the big one. And this non-spell in particular, actually, that second non-spell of Mystia, with Border Team, you don't manage to kill off all the familiars, so sometimes the randomness of the pattern can just screw you over. I don't believe that we have anything planned for next week changing. I haven't been told anything regarding the schedule changing, so no. We will tell you in the server if anything changes, obviously, but... Ephemelody is a little tricky with Water Team because you need to be able to kill the familiars to make the pattern not so stupid. But that was just fine. Final is just route. This last one is just sort of streaming-ish. Alright. Let me start that stage over again. Music sync. Alright, give me a second, I'll go grab something. Alright, we're on Marissa. Asteroid Belt is one of her major difficulty belts. Looks like they're handling it very well. Ooh, nice dodge. Second down shouldn't be a problem with border team. It's just microing and then doing the same route. Her RNG movement does change things sometimes, but they know how to handle it just fine. Event Horizon is fairly simple. Looks like they're gonna try to do the bottom. They're gonna do the bottom route, yeah. Wait, no, they're spinning. Nah, they're doing the bottom strat. Not much to say about the stage sections. The homing takes care of pretty much everything, so it's not like you have to like do much on the stages. You still need to be like not in the worst possible positions, especially during stage 5, but it's generally quite simple. Or this none is just pure randomness. Sometimes the styles can be nasty. Alright, alright. Is this gonna be a safe spot or ethical? Ethical. Alright, if you're confident. It's non-simple. Alright. Double spell kill you the most? How? Shoot the moon here is a fairly simple streaming pattern you just do at the bottom. You need to pay some attention to the lasers to make sure you don't wall yourself in. But other than that, fairly straightforward. And then final Master Spark is sort of it's just routing. If you don't know how to route this, it's stupid, but once you do, it's not too difficult to execute. Trying to macro is screen shake. Eh. Screen shake finish. I'll move it to stage 5. Stage 5 is you need to know where the enemy spawn from in stage 5 so that you're not standing in absolutely the worst positions possible. We've seen multiple LMBs on stage 5 that just well, not even really LMBs, sometimes just lunatic 1CCs where they don't really know where the enemies are spawning from and then they get themselves trapped very badly. It is somewhat necessary to speed kill. Okay, wow. Alright then. But yeah, this section needs to be speed killed, otherwise if you let it get out of hand, then you will get overwhelmed pretty easily. But the enemy spawns are always static, so this is not difficult to take care of. And then we move to Tay. Tay's first mid-non is not too difficult. Wait, no, sorry, this is the difficult one. Let's see, the RNG is nice so far. Alright. And the second mid-non is generally not difficult. There you go. And the post mid-boss section is just more of the stage section from earlier. And then we have more death fairies that need to be killed quickly. Alright, Raisin is not a very difficult stage 5 boss. I would say that she's one of the easiest. The non-spells in general are not that threatening, other than very, very exceptional cases. And most of her patterns are just gimmicks. This is a static pattern, you can just route it and then do the same thing every time. Generally people will dodge from the side like this, move into a gap here, yep, and then dodge one wave and then yeah. Repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Second non. Alright, Illusion Seeker is another gimmick spell. It's just about trying to find a spot to move to high enough on the screen such that you have enough space to move down along with the wave. And then when the illusion kicks in, move into a different position. It's not a particularly difficult pattern. Sometimes if you pick a bad gap, then it can get a lot trickier, but generally speaking the RNG shouldn't have that happen. Right, third nonce gets a bit easier if you kill off the familiars in the middle. You can't kill the familiars on the side, but not necessary, and it's quite simple regardless. Mind Stopper is the one pattern that's like difficult on Raisin. You have to move up fairly quickly so that these aim bullets will aim towards the middle and give you enough space to then repeat this action over and over again. If you stick at the bottom of the screen too long, then what can happen is that the aim bullets will get in your way, and then you're forced to stay at the bottom for longer and longer periods of time until you eventually just get trapped and then you die to the rings. But very nicely done. And Invisible Full Moon is a not static, but the pattern itself is very straightforward. You just move to a specific height and then move down, dodge one ring, and then that's it. Rinse and repeat. Nicely done. Telemesmerism is a routed pattern. I believe that it should be static, but it's a bit weird. That's an interesting strat. But anything works. Alright, we're gonna move on to 6B now. And this is really where a bulk of the difficulty of the game comes from. Stage section itself shouldn't really pose anything too threatening, especially for Border Team. but Aaron mid boss is going to yeah, we're gonna see from Aaron mid boss onwards. Alright. Very quick crisscross pattern here. Can be kinda tricky to read. But they're able to handle it just fine. I think generally people agree that, at least on Lunatic, Kaguya is actually harder than Erin. And it's for that reason that they want to pick Final B. And also Final B is like the actual good ending of the game, so... Especially for LN and FS, where Kaguya's final 5 last spells exist, it's definitely significantly more difficult to LN and FS Final B than Final A. But we have the first non here and it's already being a meme. Alright, Brilliant Dragon Bullet, one of the stupidest RNG patterns in this game. Sometimes it'll just throw you a bad wave and then you have to dodge like stupid, but it's been okay so far. Very nice. Second non, for whatever reason, the whole pattern is like can be misdirected by being at the corner at the beginning of the pattern. You can see that a bulk amount of the density of the pattern is actually firing off into the top right corner right now. Or rather, it's just rotating and then going back to the top right corner. So if you do this, then it makes the pattern significantly more less dense. And now we have Buddha's Diamond, which is another very stupid pattern. Sometimes the lasers will spawn in a very awkward orientation, and then you get walled in by the stars, and then you get walled in by the arrowheads as well. It's just not a very nice pattern when it doesn't want to be. So far, it's looking okay. Alright. Third non, crisscrossing with bullets and bubbles. A bit hard to read. Sometimes can form stupid walls, but should be okay most of the time. Nice. Salamander Shield is very easy pattern. The fireballs always unfold in the exact same ways, and then you only have these lasers, and the lasers are aimed, you can restream them. This is a side strat, but there is also a completely vertical strat that you can do where you stay right underneath Kaguya to speed kill her as quickly as possible. There's no reason to skip the misdirect on the second non other than not doing it fast enough, which is just you didn't remember to do it. But alright, this non, I am surprised to see it that low, but it works. Alright, Lifespring Infinity. This pattern is deceptively, it looks intimidating, but in actuality, the lasers take a pretty long time to activate their hitboxes, so you have actually a lot of time to dodge and get into a better position if you're like trapped, but it's still not that easy still. Alright, what is this? Alright, that's an interesting way to do that misdirect on for a... Oh, it's just again Jewel Branch of Horai. I don't remember what the short form is, but yeah. Other than that, it's a completely static pattern. Obviously, this palette stuff is aimed at you, but you can route this pattern out usually people will route it out via the colors of the pellets, via the colors of the orbs that they dodge through or dash under, in order to open up nice gaps at the correct timings. If you don't route this, well, then the pattern gets a lot harder. We're not done yet. This is a full spell run, so we still have 5 more last spells to go. The first last spell here, what was that? I think I just heard an error sound. What the hell? Anyway, the first last spell is not that difficult. Second last spell is alright, you have to read fast for this one and make sure that you're in a good gap. Sometimes you might be, if you read it incorrectly, you might get into a gap which actually kills you near the end of it. But you should be able to do it just fine here. Very nice. Third is about crossing through these bullet streams. The lower you do this, well, I don't know about comfortable, but definitely it's just about figuring out the right timing, focusing on the right lanes and then dodging through. This one is routing, honestly. But you will have to do a restream, so let's see how that happens. Oh, they're not gonna restream. Alright. And the final. This is very, very random. Not much you can do other than just be in sparse areas with not much bullets and then try to avoid sections with a lot of bullets. But this upcoming intersection between the amulets and this final random spam is the hardest part of the pattern. Made it through just fine, and GG's. Very cleanly executed LNN. I mean, at LNN level, it's always going to be a very high consistency pattern, very high consistency routes, very high consistency strategies, and yeah, the RNG wasn't too nasty, didn't really see anything too much of a wall, so yeah, that run was just very cleanly done. Obviously takes a lot of effort to get them, to practice to the point where you're able to even grind for those attempts, but it is, this being your 5th LNN is very, very nicely done. So, which one are you gonna do next, I guess? Or if you want to try a different shot type, because that's something that people will also do. Let me just load up the next run as well, our final run of the day. An SALNN. Grinding DDC, oh my god, DDC LNN. I'm gonna assume you're using either Rainway or Sakya A. That, if you're not, then it's just stupid, but if you are, then it can make things, what am I doing? Rainway, alright, yeah, that's understandable. This looks like, yeah, this is LNN FS. Skip stage 1 and 2. I can understand that because stage 3 of SA has one section, which is very stupid, but this is their second LNN for SA, so they've done this multiple times, and their shot type is actually not the conventional meta shot type here. It is Reimu B. And Reimu B is very... it needs help. Let's get into it. So, the shot types... Wait, what? Is this the run? 4, 5, 8, 9. Nope, that's not their run. What the hell? 1 second. Huh, it doesn't look like I pasted it in. Give me a second. Alright, there you go. This is the right run. Oh yeah, the stream isn't showing it, sorry. 1 sec. Alright, there we go. So the conventional shot types for this game, you have for 1cc, Reimu A is still popular, but Reimu C, Marisa B, even Marisa A, those are all strong shot types with strong bombs, right? So those are recommended for 1cc's. For LMBs and higher, generally I only really see for conventional, it's Reimu A and Marisa B, because those are high damage shot types. Reimu A is a very high damage shot type, and it can deal with bosses the most efficiently, and stages can be learned, can be routed. And as for Marisa B, well, its damage is not that high, but it's the most flexible shot type, and its stage sections are easily the strongest in the game, like strongest of all the shot types. If you know how to approach the stage sections with Marisa B, you make them so much easier than some of the other shot types. Marisa A can work as well. The damage is very high, surprisingly, especially when unfocused, and you have a decent spread shot for the stages. Then you have Reimu B, who... the homing is weak. Like, look at this homing, it's not really even homing on enemies. It's barely curving, really, so it's practically a forward focus shot with a little bit more range than that. And Reimu B is just a very weak shot in general, so you have problems with this shot type. The homing is actually detrimental even, considering that the homing will cause some of the shots to just veer off and shoot whatever they feel like. Especially when there's just multiple enemies on screen where you can't really guarantee that you'll be able to hit consistently. And of course, again, the low damage of the shot type is just a problem in general for some of the late game patterns in this game. Though Reimu B actually does feature a specific unique to this shot type strategy on Unstoppable Nuclear Reaction, Utsuho's first spell, where she can actually take some advantage of the homing properties of the shot to angle and misdirect, not really at a 45-degree angle, but instead like sort of more of a 15-degree angle, and it makes the dodging easier. But I don't really know if they'll even be using that strategy, and they still have the rest of the game to contend with, so it's not that much of an advantage. Obviously, the other horrible shot type, the worst shot type in this game is Marisa C, who actually features decent damage if you can get the shots to connect. But Marisa C has missiles that lag behind very, very significantly, and the damage mostly comes from the explosions as well, so if the boss decides to move around, which many patterns in SA do, then your damage is going to be reduced even further. So Marisa C is just a very weak, no range, fairly low DPS shot type, and the bomb of Marisa C is like actually terrible. Reimu B is the best shot for Quad Ultra. Yeah. Reimu B has... the bomb for Reimu B is not good for general survival play, but for meme stuff like Quad Ultra, because the bomb deals damage per bullet, it converts... generally it's not that many bullets that it can convert, but on Quad Ultra obviously it's gonna be a lot, so they can actually skip patterns that way. But yeah, Reimu B LNN is just going to be... I mean, it's going to look a lot like Reimu A's LNN, except that things just take longer. Now, another thing to note of Reimu B is that every shot type in this game has a unique ability that can sometimes offer a situational advantage. Reimu A's, the most popular shot for LNNs, is that she can gap from one side of the screen to another. So when she's at the side of the screen, she can double tap into the wall, and then she'll teleport, or well, she'll basically teleport towards the other side of the screen. It's very useful during specific sections of stage 5 when you can actually restream. Well, when you can avoid restreaming, sorry. And instead you can just gap from one side of the screen to another and then continue streaming with like very little risk, other than like gapping at a bad timing and then getting a bullet in your face. But Reimu B's unique ability is that she can she can release all the buttons. So she can't shoot, she can't fire, she can't move, and if she does that, she auto-collects all the items on screen. Which, if you notice, she's already doing anyway, because 1, the point of collection exists, and 2, grazing bullets will increase the comms gauge at the bottom left corner, and when it's full, and it doesn't take much to increase it to full at Lunatic, it'll auto-collect items anyway. So there's like literally next to no advantage that Reimu B actually has in that aspect as well. I mean, Reimu A is a very popular shot. I mean, forward focus shots are generally very popular, and she is a very strong forward focus shot. Like, you can't deny that the DPS of Reimu A is very, very high. But yes, she has a very, very bad stage 5 for 1cc. A hard Satori fight as well, yes. Now we're going to see the Reimu B Satori fight now, and it is going to be ripping patterns from Suika. So Suika never made an appearance in mainline game, obviously, so the patterns are actually all ripped from her photo games. So we're going to see a bunch of STB patterns here. First spell is not obviously a Suika pattern. This spell shows up on every single Satori fight. I believe that it's instantaneously, that as long as you release all of the buttons, then you instantaneously trigger the auto-collect, but it's really not necessary at all, especially not in an LNN, obviously. Alright, here we go. This first spell is random spam. Sometimes it gets very nasty. Okay, wow. They wanted to greed for damage at the end there, and then had to dodge aside because like the wave was already fired off. But this is a second spell, Pandemonium. This is just a very dense pattern. Sometimes you get walled in, you have to switch lanes, and the Mentos hitboxes are just something you have to be familiar with. Reimu B is a terrible 1cc shot. If you want to use it, it's your loss. Final spell here, Deep Mist Labyrinth. You can still shoot Suika and damage her, but because of her movement tracking you, you have to route this in a way that makes the bullets not just in your way constantly. And this is basically how you do it. You don't have much of an option for homing Reimu in SA, because, I mean, just look at it. The homing is non-existent. your stage sections are not going to be any easier than with a forward focus shot type. In fact, arguably more difficult. No, scratch that, definitely more difficult. Alright, stage 5 here is about speed killing, the start of stage 5 at least, it's about speed killing the Xing Yang, so you obviously it takes longer than it should with some shot types, but it's not that difficult if you route this. And then for this section, well, LNN, oh, they're shooting. LNN doesn't have to shoot here, and then you don't have to dodge anything, but this is really where you can see how awkward some of the homing can be. Or rather, the lack of homing and the piercing. Going to time this down, it looks like they are going to at least want to avoid Popcorn Hell. I don't know if they'll be doing Cat's Walk though. Alright, nice time down of the first non there. And now we have Cat's Walk. And I mean, if you don't see the problem with Reimu's homing, if with Reimu B on this pattern, then I don't know how to explain it to you. The bosses, yes, the bosses will move around. Sometimes you won't be underneath them. But when they move around, you won't hit them with your shot anyway, so... There you go. And then we have this section where Reimu B unfortunately will have to do restreaming, which is admittedly quite tricky sometimes. Alright, this section's ended, and now we have the final section where you can just not shoot again. If you do shoot, it's just aimed, but... With Reimu B, you do run the risk of popping a spirit a bit later than you expect, and then like the aimed lane firing off later than you think, and then it can hit you sometimes, but it's not really happening here, it's alright. Alright, we're gonna move on to Orin now. So Orin's first non, I said this every time we see a run like this, but you can safe spot this first non and there are multiple benefits to it. Unfortunately, Reimu B cannot hit behind her whatsoever, so you will have to just slowly shoot this pattern down with the main shot. But there are still a lot of benefits to doing this, even with Reimu B, I guess especially with Reimu B. So the reason is that this first spell will have these fairies from the first non respawn, and then they'll turn into zombie fairies that constantly respawn. And this is actually a big problem for Reimu B, because these zombie fairies will misdirect these homing shots and then cause them to not hit Orin. So there we go. My god, look at all these. Yeah, another pattern where that's a problem. These spirits can cause the homing shots to just go wherever they want. Reimu A's damage is just very high, so Reimu B can't compare at all, really. Even with the piercing properties, it's just unfortunate. Anyway, third non is sort of routable, and then we have Needle Mountain, where... Sorry, not Needle Mountain, what am I saying? I forgot what the spell is called actually, but this spell you just need to basically the ghost wheels are aimed slightly to your right, so you will be slowly forced onto the left unless you do a misdirect before the ghost wheels fire off. Final spell here, Rare Reimu BW, where she can actually take care of some of the homing spirits, some of the aim spirits because of the piercing shot, but also not a W because she can't speed kill this pattern because her damage is not high enough. Alright, stage 6 now. Not much to say about stage section. Kill these, try not to let them fly off, otherwise you have to dodge through some kunai, and then these ghosts. With Reimu A you can gap, but with Reimu B you have to restream, and because of that you want to know where they spawn from so that you can kill them and not have to deal with their bullets firing from awkward angles. Nice restream. But yeah, this is alright, made it through just fine. And then we're gonna have what's this called again? Blazing Wheel. We have Blazing Wheel for the mid-boss. Left-right movement. They're using the focus to sort of break themselves, and then dashing left and right. And they're actually timing this out because this will allow them to skip the post-mid-boss section, where Reimu B has a giant problem. Now the post-mid-boss section has crows flying, a spam of crows flying in on the left and right side of the screen, and they will drop like Mentos like just straight downwards. That section gets very stupid with Reimu B because the homing shot tries to hit the crows, sometimes can't, and then the crows fly across the screen, shoot a bunch of bullets, and then you end up having to deal with a very dense spam of Mentos. So that's something that's nice to be skipped. Touhou now. Touhou's first non is not difficult. It's free. And then UN now. Let's see if they do the strat. Alright, this misdirect, and then they're not really doing the strat. That's alright. Yeah, see, so at the side of the screen here, the homing shot is not tracking towards Touhou at all. So you're not doing any damage. Like I said earlier, if you do a smaller angle misdirect, you can have the homing shot constantly hitting. So that is one option. Something like this, yeah, something like this, but at a shallower angle slightly. Alright, second on is you can do this to make it much safer. Pedal Flare. Pedal Flare is a very random spell. Sometimes you'll get walled by these suns. And then there's all these random spam to dodge as well. So let's see how this RNG pans out. It's okay so far. Ooh, not so comfortable there. Oh, okay, good dash. Looks like this is alright then. Good cap. This non-spell is completely safe at the bottom of the screen, no matter where Touhou is. Just stay underneath her. Ten Evil Stars has a safe line that you can get into. Because the suns don't have the hitbox extend to the entire sprite, unlike a specific other bullet type that showed up in the most recent Touhou game. But yeah, because of the safe line, you can just focus on dodging these pink pellets. Not pellets, pink just orbs. From there, this non-spell can't really be cheesed in the same way as the second non-spell, but it's also less dense, so you don't really have to do anything special. Just try not to pick a bad gap. Nice. 2 more spells left. Hell's Tokamak. This is just raw dodging, read forward and behind you. It's easier to do this at the side, but if you do this too far to the side, then the angles can be awkward, so this is sort of like a nice compromise. Very nice. And now the final Subterranean Sun. Gravity will suck the player in towards the middle along with these red bullets. When you move, you want to move back out of the gravity, obviously, and then you'll have to focus on dodging these red bullets. But then you'll also have to deal with these white pellets. So basically, you have to switch between dodging these red bullets and the white pellets, repositioning yourself into the gaps from the white bullets, and then focusing on the red bullets as well. Gravity is going to increase over time. That's a very tight cap there, but okay. And very nicely done. That is a Reimubi LNN of SA. GG. Yeah, I mean, the shot type is not very good, but like I said, it just sort of plays out like a forward focus shot anyway, just with weaker damage. So yeah, nicely done. Very, very nicely done. And with that, we are done with today's TRS. I know that we are clashing with a particular sporting event in real life, but hey, I don't care about that event, so thanks for joining us, and we will be back next week. I think we'll be back next week with more TRS. I guess Ari hasn't said anything about that, so I think we'll be back next week with TRS. Well, the routes and dodges near perfect for this. I mean, this is just what can I say? LNN runs. When players attempt LNN runs, they need to have already very high consistency on like almost everything in the game, and then from there they grind out runs and they execute the routes that and strategies that they've already planned out priorly. So yes, the pretty much everything that could have been routed was done like correctly here. There wasn't anything like like a risky dodge or anything, because if that happens in an LNN run, it's just usually it's an anomaly, and usually it can also lead to disaster, and then it's not an LNN anymore. But yeah, I think we'll be back next week with more TRS. Our run queue is well, it ballooned again, but that's only because we have opened up submissions again. For those of you who are unaware, we actually are caught up enough with the queue that Gustari has greenlit that we will allow monthly submissions again. So if you have submitted in the previous month, you are actually able to submit again this month. and we will show your submission in short order, hopefully within 1 month's time, because that is not a time frame that we've been able to do for quite some time. Uh, the runs that we are showing today, the earliest run was from 27 November, so we have caught up quite significantly since the 2 month gap from earlier. But yeah, thanks for watching. We have a Discord server that Nightbot posted earlier. Join that if you would like to keep up with announcements about TRS. We also have a very large gameplay community for Touhou and just general chat in there. So that's our Discord server. Join that if you want. If you'd like to modify anything about your submissions, there is an inquiries channel within the server that you can post in, and we will accept your modifications just from there. And you can also request in that channel for well, there's a sheet that will link to all of the current submissions, and there are some things that you can request for, such as indicating that some runs should be shown on some days or by certain people. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.